Lastly, for part C, we want to create this sort of graph. So iterate across the daily cases to create a graph that gives a rough view of the trend of daily cases for each day. Use a loop and the array values to do this. Don't just hard code the numbers, each line in the graph with the actual daily number of cases. Your graph should look something like this. Okay, and to determine the number of asterisks on each day, divide each daily case number by 100, and then use the rounded value. Okay, so 550 over 100 is 5.54, and then that'll get rounded to 6, I think. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yes, there's 6 asterisks printed here. And you have to be careful how you do this math. When you divide, you don't want to round until after. You don't want to round or cast until after you calculate that. So continuing from the same file, let's first create a function to give me the number of asterisks I want to print out. Or give me the string of asterisks that I want to print out so I can just reuse it. So this will return a string of asterisks given the number of cases. So we'll call this get asterisks. Okay, and it'll take in an integer of number daily, let's just call it daily cases, right? Okay, yes. So we need to first figure out how many asterisks to give us. And this is calculated by taking daily cases divided by 100 and then rounded. Okay, so num asterisk equals the daily cases. And this is where you need to be careful, because if you do daily cases over 100, it's going to do integer math and it's going to screw your calculation up. But by adding this 0.0, it'll do double math for me. Okay, and then this needs to be rounded. So we can use that with math.round. So this is the number of asterisks I want to print out. And with this function, I want to return the actual string of asterisks that I'm going to print out. So I'll create a string, asterisks. Create as an empty string first, and then I'm going to use a for loop to append asterisks to the string. Okay. So I want to iterate num asterisk number of times, and each time I want to append an asterisk, like so. Okay, and then return asterisks. Okay, so to test this out, let's just do a print statement. Get asterisk. In the example, I think it was 554, and we want 6 to be printed out. Oop. From long to int. Possible lossy conversion from long to int. Okay, so this is going to give us a long. I'll just cast it to an int to work around that. Okay, so we expect 6 stars to be printed out, which is the case here. So math.round returns a long, but I have it stored as an integer, so I just cast it to an integer. And you have to be careful where you put this cast. If you put this cast in here, it's not going to solve your problem, and it's going to screw things up. So now I can generate the correct number of asterisks. All right, and I just want to do this for each row of data. That's another for loop. I want to iterate through number of dates, right? Alright. So, for each date, I want to print out a line. We first print the date, so that's dates at I. Then we print the number of asterisks. And so we need to get the daily cases at the row of our data. So that's data at I at 2. Or to make this more clear, let's just do it like this. Right? So this is our row. And then this is just row at 2 because the daily case is at 0, 1, 2, right? Okay. And then we want to end it with the actual number of daily cases. So that's row 2 again. Okay. So for each date, we calculate the number of asterisks and print out this line. Let's test it out. I is less than dates. This is dot length. Okay. So for each date, we get some data, and this looks all correct. 554, 882, and so on. So yep. The thing that made this easy is that we have this method, get asterisk, that we can reuse, and this loop becomes super simple and easy to read.